took him up to Durwood Glen, and he stayed there for must have been
5 years.
Oh, 5 years. And people that were there kind of helped him. And then later he went to the nursing home at Portage, and he was there 9 years before he died.
And first, after he left the farm, he was your neighbor on 2nd Street.
Yeah, he came in.
And tell us the stories about what Grandpa used to do.
He remarried after, how many years after your mother died? About 9 years?
I don't know how long it was.
I forgot. Anyway, they lived in a house on 2nd Street there. And then she died, and Grandpa outlived 2 wives. And so then he was throwing his pots and pans out by the road to get rid of them, you know, the junk, and he told us, you could take anything you want. So we brought home a skillet or 2 and a few things that Grandpa didn't need anymore.
He used to come early in the morning.
Oh, 5 o'clock in the morning, Grandpa would be up. He was always raising a garden, and he was an early riser. And he would come and rap on our bedroom window. And maybe we didn't get to bed till midnight because kids were sick or something going on. And we'd be so tired. Aren't you up yet? You know, like he thought we were really lazy. And then he'd come in the house and sit and visit and watch us get breakfast and do things. But
and sang German tunes.
He was alone. Yeah, he would speak German. He would come in and say something to me and in German, and you understand? And I said, no. And I said after it, I wished I would have paid more attention, had him teach me a few things, because he would have, I suppose. But then he'd just tell me what he said in English. Yeah.
And he got that great big fancy car that had the swivel seats that you could open the door and swing the seat out, you know.
Yeah, he liked that, so he could get in and out easier.
Had great big tail fins up on the back.
Yeah, that was a Dodge with the fins in the back. Nice looking car, 4-door.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then after he got so he couldn't drive anymore, he had a little pickup that was a kind of a killer to drive. And because I had to drive it for him once, and we came from Lodi, and oh Lord, I'd push on the brake so hard to make it stop. I thought my leg was going to break. You know, he lost his driver's license for a while because I don't know which car he was driving, the pickup or the car, but he hit the edge of the ferry and did some damage. And, you know, he couldn't see too well, I don't think, anymore. And so they took his driver's license. Well, he had to go take driver's lessons over. So I'd go with him to Lodi, and he would drive this pickup over there. I should have been driving it, but I didn't want to tell Grandpa, you better let me drive. So one day we came out, this is about the second time we went over for his training, and the man came out with us. He says, now, who's driving this? Well, I said, well, truthful me, I said, Grandpa drove it over. Well, he's not driving it home. Do you drive? I said, yes, I drive. Well, you'll have to drive it home. He didn't want Grandpa to drive until he got his license back, so I had to drive it, and that's why I found out. No wonder Grandpa had an accident. It was a killer to drive.
How old was
I got
Grandpa?
home with it all right.
How old was Grandpa when this happened?
Well, he was in his 80s, probably about that time, or near around 80-ish.
And you finally had to take away his license, right, Dad?
Well, they took it away before until he got it back, but you know, he had me fill out some papers for him when he was applying for his license, and he had, on his old driver's license, he had his age, that he was born in 1886. Well, that was the same year my dad was born, but he told me as I was filling out the paper, actually I was born in 1983, but I didn't think, you know, he didn't want the people to know that he was that old, 3 years different. So I thought, oh, Grandpa, you know, I think he got it right though the second time I got it on there. But he wasn't young, and that was well, like I say, I don't remember the exact year that was. It was in the 50s sometime.
I have to laugh at the time when he went over to Lodi, and Charlie Dittman was along with him. And my dad says he's going into the drugstore to get some Geritol that time, you know, there was a
Oh,
kind of a laxative stuff or
it's
something.
supposed to be good for everything.
Shelley Ditburger says, take that damn money and buy yourself a half pint, it'll do you more good.
Who told him that?
Shelley Ditburger told him, take that money and go and buy yourself a half pint of whiskey, it'll do you more good.
No. Well, when he stayed in the nursing home, he broke his hip one time trying to get to the bathroom. He fell over backwards when he got about to the door and he had a hold of the doorknob, but he fell backward, broke his hip. So he had to go up on the 3rd floor to recoup, you know, and there were a lot of people that were up there were really bad shape. That was the bad ones that were sickest, and they would be tied in their chairs and chanting and stuff, and Grandpa said one day, and he was already about 93 or 90 something, and he said, if I have to stay up here with those old people much longer, I'm going to go crazy. And I thought, these old people, he was probably older than most of them. But we used to laugh at things he'd come out with. And then they, you know, in bathing him one time, they let him sit too long without, I suppose, anything on it. It was cool in the room, and he got pneumonia. And we thought we were going to lose him that time, but he got over it. He was strong.
And he finally died
But at the end, his legs, he didn't have good circulation.
it was
And
phlebitis,
they
right?
wanted to take him to Madison and remove one leg. And he said, no, I want to go out whole. So then they said, well, we'll give you about 3 days. And he lived just about 3 days. But he didn't care, he was ready to go. He told Tommy the night before he died, we were all at the hospital there. And he said, you know, I'm dying, to Tom. And he had a smile on his face. He was happy. He was tired of life. He was 95, and this was in August. He died about on Linda's birthday. And then he was would have been 96 in December, the 9th, same as Dorothy.
Hell, they beat out of me by James Grady.
That was just
James
something to do
Grady?
while in the
Yeah.
army.
Was that somebody famous?
Yeah, he was with our outfit, and we
Oh,
always went down to the gym and done boxing, you know, punch bag, you know.
so you learned how to box?
Yeah.
Was he a professional, this James Grady?
No, he was no.
They
He
just
just-
had something to do when they weren't
No, we
busy.
went down there to practice a little, you know, and kill some time, their time off.
Yeah, what a crazy
Well, he
thing.
was real good on the punching bag, boy, you keep it banging. There was a trick to that. All you had to do is keep moving like this, you know.
How much did you do that while you were here in the States before you went overseas, or what?
Yeah,
Just for
Yeah.
pastime?
yeah, for
Yeah.
recreation, you know.
So you did some boxing.
Yeah.
Hmm.